Welcome to Franchise Envy. It's my series where I talk to happy, successful franchisees. And today I have Jon Schloesser, and he hails from Wisconsin. And Jon is a Gotcha Covered franchise owner.
Up next,
While other businesses were shutting down, we were expanding. Not only did we open our first franchise for Gotcha Covered, we opened our second.
People listening now that might have spilled their coffee as they heard this.
Gotcha Covered made it so easy to launch. There was really not a lot.
Jon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I am excited to talk to you, Mr. Successful. I'll tell you, I loved hearing some of your backstory before we hit record. You've been in Gotcha Covered for 5 years. So you've scaled something, and we're going to talk about all of it. We've scaled something most people would overlook. What's the hidden genius behind the window covering business?
Well, that's a difficult question. I really don't know what there is from a hidden genius standpoint, but what we have is like a really good team here in Wisconsin. We've kind of broken our business down between residential and commercial operations, and we've just been grinding away for 5 years here, focusing on just new homes, renovations, and then new construction for commercial. Post COVID, businesses are rethinking their way of business, whether it was work from home to restaurants, and we kind of jumped on that wave, I guess, as it happened. So I guess you can consider us kind of lucky for that.
So, Jon, why did you pick Gotcha Covered? How did that become your franchise?
That's a good question. I remember going through really a lot of phone calls, exploring a lot of different business opportunities out there. A lot of my background was kind of like in wireless systems and a lot of things that really just kind of fit into modern, residential houses. And I stumbled across one of the recruiters for Gotcha Covered, I'd say 2019, maybe even prior to that, but I've had experience with this before. And it just felt like, now's the right time. Looking back on it, 2019 into 2020, I think nobody would say that's the right time to open a business for how the world went in 2020 with COVID. But really, we made that decision, my wife and I, and we opened up, and really, we've just been at it ever since.
And you mentioned to me earlier your wife has the optometrist business, so you were also helping with that expansion as well. So you definitely had a familiarity with business.
Yeah, I'll give all the credit to her. To be fair, we opened a second location. Really, we've opened multiple locations. She's been private practice for years, and then she opened her own standalone facility a year into the pandemic. While other businesses were shutting down, we were expanding. Not only did we open our first franchise for Gotcha Covered, we opened our second, and then just last year our third location. And then she was also growing with her optometry practice at that time, and now we have 2 locations there as well.
Wow. So what was your all-in investment when you got into Gotcha Covered with all the expansion and everything? What's the estimate there of what you've invested?
Well, obviously there were the franchise fees, but investment-wise, there's really no overhead. There's no inventory, samples, displays, modular kits. Really, we just had extras as we go. Some customers, as they remove product, they will have you dispose of said product. And along the way, the standard business model, your scrap rate, 1%, 2%, whatever it may be. So you accumulate a couple other items as you go. So opening those other locations, we already had inventory ready for us if we needed for a showroom. And currently now we have 3 addresses, brick and mortar, for each location that's just driving better website and digital traffic for us.
Fabulous. So Jon, I alluded to the fact that you're crushing it and you're super successful. And this
Yeah.
year you're hoping to net $1 million and get to the 3 million in sales mark. You know what people listening now that might have spilled their coffee as they heard this, the margins are really high and got you covered. So obviously you're very happy with what's going on, and you're not even in the top franchisee.
Correct. Yeah. We're running, we're driving, we're gunning for that top spot, but I'm not a super competitive person that way. I'm more into the business competitiveness of it. Is how do we stay efficient? How do we stay lean? We have sales targets. We're learning what our capabilities are. We've split residential and commercial. Our commercial operations are driving 50% of our business model now, and residential is only growing further. So
While you've been very successful as a franchise owner of Got You Covered, what kind of individual fails in a franchise or in a business like Got You Covered?
well, yeah. Individuals here at Gotcha Covered, we're a big, large family, and we have to all get along and be a team player, and we all do. Individuals that come in and want to just remotely run the business, that's great. But in my opinion, it's twice as hard to do that. You want to be involved in the business and be there for several months, if not longer, before you just maybe remotely run your business. And then within the franchise community here, we all help each other out. And when we identify a trend or we see a design issue or something nationally that people are really wanting as a product or a new offering, say anything from like Google Nest or anything else like that, we all work together to learn how to program it or to really meet that customer satisfaction. If you're a franchisee that comes in and thinks you don't need to know that, that's going to make it twice as hard for you. Or if you're not really sure what you want to do with yourself, I would give it some consideration. Not that it's a hard job. This is by far a very easy, well-fulfilling business model, and it makes you very happy as you go because you're solving a lot of needs for people. But if you're not wanting to solve those needs for people or to be that team player for the customer, it's going to make it hard. So I think that kind of defines people that don't do well here. And really, I don't think that's very many people out there. If you think about the 80-20 rule, 99% of people are good. I think everybody here is going to be a good person. But if for some reason you feel that can't be you, I would maybe give it another thought.
Yeah. Good stuff. So continuing that thought process, can you think back to 5 years ago, really during COVID as you launched? COVID aside, what was the hard part of really launching a business, a franchise business like Got You Covered?
Gotcha Covered made it so easy to launch. There was really not a lot other than studying different product options. Gotcha Covered doesn't just kind of provide you one or two vendors and then that's it. The training you get is phenomenal, but there is a lot of self-study still required. So 30 to 40 vendors, each one maybe specializes in one or two exclusive products or designs. You need to know that. And it is challenging. For me, the hardest part about it was knowing each of these vendors' key product offering. That's what's made their bread and butter over the years. And you don't want to screw that up. Or that's going to be what you depend on to fill your bottom line. Or your designers. Once you get big enough, you're going to have a staff. And that's what I have now here too. And it's an ongoing mindset for training. And every year or less or more often, things change. So continuously learning, continuous education, that's huge. And that was the hardest part about it, is I'm learning everything, and then I'm on top of that learning continuing education about things that are changing as we're all under lockdown and we're all changing our buying habits and our retail habits. So that was probably the hardest part of 2020.
When people are looking at a franchise, there are many people that I work with that come to me initially looking, they think, for a large brand, a big established brand. And then there are other people that don't mind the emerging brands. Does size matter when people are looking at a franchise business?
I would say no. And coming from a mindset where we also have other small businesses that we have across Appleton, Chilton, the eastern side of Wisconsin, the northeast side of Wisconsin, and now 3 franchise locations for Gotcha Covered, they all blend very, very well. There's no difference. What makes Gotcha Covered more successful, in my opinion, it's smaller. You have that, I don't want to use the word agile, but you have an agile response team that if one thing does arise, say it's like a vendor or supplier quality issue, we can all huddle together quickly and resolve it and talk to the vendor because the corporate team is there and they know who you are. Larger brands, larger vendors, I've seen it in other business models. It's not that you're just a number, but you got to be the squeaky wheel. With Gotcha Covered, they know who you are. You can reach out, you can text somebody at corporate, and they'll be able to get a hold of you quickly. That model there kind of sold me, and we felt immediate support in 2020 when I could reach out to the president of the brand and, hey, Wisconsin's under lockdown. I can't even go into the state of Illinois without risk of getting a ticket, and we are not allowed to operate. What can we do to respond, to stay in business? Had we not had that type of support, we wouldn't be here today.
Wonderful. So share with us one bit of advice for first-time business owners that are maybe exploring franchises right now. And if you're listening and you're exploring franchises, please reach out to me because I'm happy to help you for free. So Jon, what is that advice that you would give? One piece of advice from all of your success.
Well, there's a lot. It's hard to narrow down what just one piece of advice is, but you want to make sure culturally, and that word's been overplayed in corporate America for the past decade, but you want to make sure you're a good fit for the franchise just as much as the franchise is a good fit for you. If you think you can just show up and say it's a franchise restaurant, most of those individuals, if it's their first one, they're working it. And they're working it like a dog for years. At Gotcha Covered, you're going to work it for a few months. But a few months is nothing. Once you get established and you get some cash flow going and cash flow positive, you can get support. Now, if you're not a good fit for the franchise, like you feel that you're not really, it's a weird feeling for a man to talk draperies or design and colors. Likewise, it's very challenging for other individuals to talk electrical with a contractor or someone wearing hard hats and steel toes and curse words every other word at a job site. You have to be able to fit in wherever the environment of your customer is at. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be successful. So that is what I'm saying when you're a good fit for the franchise, just as much as that franchise is a good fit for you. You have to consider both ways. It's a give and take relationship. And if you can do that, you're going to be very successful.
Jon, thank you so much for sharing your story today. I really appreciate your spending time with me, and continued success to you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.